If you haven't heard yet, the classic Halo servers on the 360, including Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, Halo Reach, and Halo 4, are all being shut down effective from the 13th of January 2022. It's weird to even say that after feeling like the games we played would last forever, but unfortunately that isn't the case. The servers have been up for a long time now, some for over a decade in fact. For a long-time fan of the series, it's not difficult to express just how depressing it is to hear the servers shutting down. If you wasn't there at the beginning, then you should know that a lot of us back then made some incredible memories. For me, however, I was never really a PvP person myself, so my true Halo multiplayer experience was co-op. Whether that be killing the Prophet of Truth with a friend, or trying to hold against waves of Covenant in ODST and Reach. Every time you booted up the games, you were hit with an incredible sound. Marty O'Donnell's outstanding music, and a menu screen that imprinted itself into your brain. Even now I can picture the rookie having a nap on my screen. Or the planet Reach in all its beauty. Out of the 4 classics, my favourite was probably Reach. It's a very controversial decision, and with the Halo community having a very diverse taste on their favourite, I want to explain why Reach was mine at the time. For me, Halo Reach had the best multiplayer, and a lot of people will say that the gameplay was shoddy and too different to Halo 3's at the time, and that the sandbox was wrong, the customization was a grind, there was too many bugs. But I don't rate its multiplayer off of that. It's the top for me because of the memories I've made and the time spent on the game. It was 2010 and I'd recently bought my copy of Halo Reach. Being super excited that day, I remember waking up with my saved up birthday money and begging to be driven down to the shop, of which I pre-owned from, to finally collect my long awaited game. As soon as I got home, I bolted up the stairs to my room and immediately inserted the disc. The game began to load, and I was met with the most beautiful sight my eyes and ears were to behold. And as I hit the start button, there it was, Spartan customization. This was the most exciting part about the game for me, being able to create my own Spartan from what felt like hundreds of armour choices. I'd already seen what could be done days before in old video game magazines that always gave you the inside scoop of what was to come. From what I'd seen on that magazine, I knew that I wanted the operator helmet. It was the best design I'd seen at the time, and I was determined to get those credits. Of course, once gaining enough through their campaign, more and more helmets and armour pieces began to appear, and it quickly became near impossible to settle on what I really wanted. I was smiling ear to ear as my dreams of becoming a Spartan was practically true. The unique combinations that could be created was mind-blowing at the time, and I was ready to show them off to my friends. Like I said earlier, however, multiplayer wasn't really my thing, but it's not like I never played it. There would be a few times where a friend and I, that I regularly play with to this day, would join me in a match of infection, hiding in corners of almost every map, nearly screaming when we saw hulking elites charge us with energy swords. My favourite mode though was a welcome and returning one from ODST, Firefight. This is where the game really began to get interesting. As an avid Call of Duty Zombies fan, I adored the whole fighting off waves of enemies and trying to survive, finding new ways to fight the Covenant with different weapons, vehicles, and later armour abilities in Reach. And it was always better with a friend or two. And a lot of the time, me and my friend Aidan would find ourselves up late at night, surviving wave after wave, losing life after life, listening to the Black Eyed Peas for some reason, and eating takeaways. In Reach, we'd even have matching armour pieces to, in a sense, show that we were a part of an elite Spartan team. wearing both ODST helmets but with different additions so he wasn't identical, with a primary black colour and altering secondary. It's kinda silly looking back on it, but at the time, just added to the entertainment factor of the firefights. Our loadouts would consist of some of our favourite weapons. For me it was the DMR and the shotgun. For my friend it was the needle rifle and even an energy sword at times. Those nights we would laugh and scream as we were chased by waves of suicide grunts that followed us through Beachhead. Then later going into theatre mode and creating cool screenshots that we could use as backgrounds for our Xbox dashboards. Halo Reach will forever hold a special place in my heart. So with the servers being killed, I decided to help the fight before it's finished. If you never heard before, there was once a band of Halo fans back in 2010 what did something quite extraordinary and slightly evil but funny. They were known as the Noble 14, and they were the last people to play the Halo 2 server back on the original Xbox before it shut down. However, for the old servers to actually be shut down, all the players had to leave, and this is where the Noble 14 became famous. They were effectively holding the server hostage as a means to keep the game alive. Old Halo fans refusing to let their favourite multiplayer die. And I would have never have known about this story myself if it wasn't for one of Moist Critical streams, aka Penguin Zero, aka Charlie. And by the sounds of it, he's most likely going to be joining the server hostage situation in January of 2022.
Halo 3, ODST, and Reach are closing on January 22nd. Oh, the originals are closing down, so the OG 360 servers. So this is the exact same situation that Noble 14 was facing. It's my time to rise. I even have my fucking Master Chief helmet. I'm holding all 3 of those games hostage then. I've even got, I'll be honest, I didn't even know they still had the 360 servers up. So this one's right around the corner. January 13th. Is it possible to water cool an Xbox 360? No, which is why I'm going to have to build a climate-controlled environment, constantly pumping good juice to it, so it never overheats. I'll figure it out. My story is not going to be nearly as wholesome as Noble 14. They kept the servers alive, held them hostage so they could continue to play the game they love. I'd keep them alive just because fuck you. So mine probably wouldn't be as moving, I don't think. They certainly wouldn't write a cool story about it.
So, will you be? Unfortunately for myself, I can't, as my Xbox 360 is dead from the infamous Red Ring of Death. But I will be keeping an eye out for anybody streaming the live server switch off. To anybody that does still have a running Xbox 360, I encourage you to go revisit some childhood memories before it's completely taken away. People may wonder why it's such a big deal, and to some I can understand the confusion. After all, you can jump on MCC and just play the games there. But to older fans of the series, the old games are special to us. I suppose the best way of describing it is like comparing an original game to a remaster. Even the remaster looks better with its enhanced frame rate and next-gen graphics, but it simply can't beat the nostalgic feeling of playing the originals. Whatever game it is, Halo 3, Reach, ODST, or even Halo 4, go show the classic some love. The Noble 14 only lasted around 3 weeks after the servers were supposedly supposed to shut down. Of course, they held them hostage. They did their best to keep the servers going for as long as they could before either their Xboxes died on them, their connections were lost, or they simply had to leave. I feel like the Halo community is one of the strongest out there. We can do some pretty incredible things if we stick together. If you want to make sure we keep this up, I beg you to share this video. Get the word out there. Not that many people are going to know about this situation. Let's try get some old fans to return to the classics. I want to see gamer tags that haven't been active in years return online like a goddamn missing Avenger. These servers are about to go down in the next few days, so let's become as legendary as the Noble 14. Let there be thousands that occupy the servers. Let's try beat the record and hold out for as long as we can. Go out there, pick a game, and hunker down for a firefight against Microsoft. Do whatever you have to do to stay in the servers. Keep them 360s cool. Wire up your internet connection. Rubber band your controllers to prevent being kicked from inactivity. Do anything that you can. And Mr. Moist Critical, Charlie, if you're watching, Godspeed. Peace.